right, hello guys, happy Monday again. It's actually Monday when I'm filming this. I literally could not make up my mind. I did a poll on Instagram even to decide which video I wanted to do. So I was like very unsure about it, if I was gonna do my gym bag / supplement video or if I was gonna do my 10 reasons why you aren't seeing progress in the gym. But that one was more requested, so we're gonna do that one first, and my other one will be out probably in the next couple of weeks. Okay, so I'm not going in any particular order with these. These are definitely not all of the reasons why you're possibly not seeing progress. These are just like the top 10 that I can think of, the most common ones that I see all the time. And again, no particular order. It's not like ranked 1 to 10 being the least or anything like that. I am gonna order them by like nutrition first, then we'll transfer into workouts, and then we'll transfer into just anything else that I can think of that may be causing you to not see progress. So I'm gonna start off, I have my notes literally right next to me, just because it's a lot and I wanna make sure I touch on everything and have them all here for you guys. So the first one we're going to talk about is eating too little, or just having been eating too little for too long of a period. So obviously our bodies are very smart. They adapt to things. It's something called metabolic adaptation. So when you eat, let's say you went on a diet and you saw good progress and you started eating 1,200 calories, which by the way is way too low. Let's just say that's what you did. A lot of people do that, so we'll go with that. Let's say you ate 1,200 calories for 6 months or so, and now you're not seeing any progress and you're stalling and you don't know what to do. Obviously that's too little in general to ever eat for a grown person, but your body also adapts to that too. So it's important to like understand that just because you were seeing good results on it before doesn't mean that you're gonna see good results on it now, because our bodies are very smart, so they adapt to those things. So that could be a big reason why you're not seeing progress, especially if you're trying to like gain muscle or anything like that. It's definitely important to eat. You need to eat food. Carbs are our body's main fuel source, so that's gonna be super important for being able to just see progress in the gym, have energy and get good workouts in and have good recovery and everything like that. So definitely an important one to focus on. So if that's you, I highly recommend taking a look at your diet and seeing what you're doing. If you've been eating too low for a very long time, I would recommend looking into reverse dieting. I do have a good post on my Instagram page about reverse dieting that explains how to go through every single step of it. So if you haven't followed me there, I'll leave my handle right here so you guys can go check that out. And then yeah, that brings us into our next one. Our next one is going to be alcohol. So obviously I just grouped this in with nutrition because it's something you drink, but alcohol is empty calories. It obviously makes us all feel like shit. So it's not the best, and you want everything in moderation. You don't want to completely restrict anything, especially if you like drinking and it winds you down or like relaxes you after a hard day or anything like that. Like that's totally fine to do in moderation. But if you are drinking, let's say 2 or more times a week and you're not seeing results, I would definitely look at that to be one of the contributors to not seeing the progress that you want to see in the gym. Once a weekend, I would say, or a week, whenever you want to do it. Most people do it on the weekends. I would say is totally fine. It shouldn't affect you too much, and like unless you're getting absolutely like hammered, then that's obviously gonna affect you. But yeah, it just affects you. It affects you the next day. You're hungover, you might not want to go to the gym, you might lack motivation, you might sleep longer, you might not feel good, and you won't be able to eat how you normally would eat for your goals. And then, you know, it affects you that day because obviously you make more poor choices. I think that's how you say it. Poor choices. You could go in with a set amount of drinks that you want to drink that night, but because you are intoxicated and really feeling it, you could just say yes to that extra shot, and then there goes your nutrition. So definitely be aware of that. It also dehydrates you, obviously, so you know you're gonna need more water for sure. You're just not gonna feel good in general. So that is number 2. And moving on to number 3, we have weekend cycling. So this is gonna be number 3, especially like in the nutrition category. I know a lot of people that are very excited about like how they eat during the week, and they do really good, and then the weekend comes and they're off track, or people that like restrict a lot during the week, and then on the weekend they just go all in on every type of food that they can imagine. So this is kind of where balance comes in, and I like to stick to 80-20 for nutrition. So 80% foods that are going to fuel my body, more so whole foods, things that like digest well with my body as well, and then 20% soul foods, things that I really want, something that I'm craving, something that I really enjoy eating. Those are going to be things like Oreos, cake, ice cream, that type of thing, pizza if you're not sure what those mean. So soul food would be the things that you crave, that you really like, that you want to eat, but maybe are too high calories for your diet. And then whole foods are going to be things that fuel your body, can still be high calories, but if you have them in the normal moderation, then they might come out to your actual goal calories. You will also see some people that track during the week and then don't track on the weekend, which is a huge mistake. If you're tracking, just go all in on tracking, because a lot of the times, even though we're picking healthier food options or eating healthier, sometimes if we're not focused on the amount that we're eating, and there's no way to know if we're not tracking it, then it's really way easier to get off track with calories, even if it's like good foods that you're choosing. So definitely be aware of that. The weekend cycling can really throw you off, even if you are being like restrictive during the week, which obviously you don't want to be too restrictive, because that leads to overeating a lot of the times. But yeah, if you're being super restrictive during the week and then eating a ton on the weekend, that's still probably going to put you at maintenance calories or higher. And if you're trying to lose weight, obviously that's not gonna work too well. So I really like to look at it as 80-20 for that reason. And also, you know, if your diet's unsustainable for you and you're going through that week to weekend cycling type routine, obviously something needs to change, because what's happening isn't working for you. So I highly recommend taking a look at that. Okay, that brings us into number 4, which is supplements, prioritizing supplements over nutrition. Everyone thinks that's key. It's not. Let me tell you, it is not. Definitely stick to the basics, stick to workouts, nutrition, consistency. Those are key, and you can learn about how your body reacts to those from your body's biofeedback. Things like sleep, hunger, recovery, digestion, energy, stress, all of that stuff that your body tells you is gonna tell you how you're doing with those other things like nutrition, workouts, and consistency, and sleep too. I guess that is also one of the things that we should definitely be prioritizing. So definitely focus on those. Those come first over anything, and then we can start looking into supplements. Everyone just throws supplements at things, and it's not the answer. I promise you, it's not the answer. People like to do pre-workout when they're tired. People like to do protein powder because it's easier and they're too lazy to cook food. That is not the answer, girlfriend. We definitely want to prioritize whole foods as much as possible. And of course you can have a protein shake, but if you're having 2 to 3 protein shakes a day, then that is not the answer. And then people also throw like probiotics when they're when they're having like digestive issues. That's not gonna work. Your digestive tract is telling you something, your body is telling you something if your digestion is off, and it just like putting a probiotic with your food is not going to help you. You have to get to the bottom of what your body is telling you. And then melatonin is another common one when people have trouble falling asleep. Of course that can help a little bit, but it's not gonna, you know, fix the problem. You have to find the root of the problem before throwing supplements at things and fix it at the root, because otherwise it's just not going to get fixed. You're just gonna be pretty much putting a band-aid on a cut. Okay guys, so we're on number 5, and number 5 is gonna be not eating before you lift. This is a super important one, and I find that a lot of people don't eat before they lift because they think that it's gonna burn more calories, but it is not going to burn more calories. You're just gonna be hungry and have low energy. So your body uses food as fuel, and carbs are the body's main fuel source. So highly recommend having some carbs before you work out. And if you work out super early like me, I know that when I'm in a cutting phase and I'm trying to lose body fat, yeah, I might not eat super early in the morning if I'm not hungry, because I'll be using the carbs from the night before to fuel my body. So I will strategically eat after my workout a big meal, and then at the end of the day I have a big meal as well and a couple snacks, so that I'm fueled for my morning workout. I do that just because when I'm cutting, obviously you want to be able to like savor your calories throughout the day. If you don't have a ton of calories, that's more towards the end of my cut. And I do wake up super early, 4:30, so I'm not always hungry, and it's totally fine to not eat beforehand. But if you find that your workouts are lacking and everything else is like going good, but you just are not progressing in your lifts, and especially if you're not cutting or if you're maintaining reverse dieting or building, you should definitely be eating something before you work out. I eat something now before I work out because I'm in a building phase, so I definitely have like probably around 25 grams of carbs before my workout. It depends on like the day. Obviously when I wake up at 4:30, I'm not super hungry, but I still try to have like at least 25 grams of carbs. And then on the weekends I have a way bigger pre-workout meal, and you do have to let that digest a little bit. So like I'll wake up, I eat that smaller meal during the week because those are the days I work out early. So I'll have that small meal, it'll be digested or like going through that process within the next like 30 minutes to 45 minutes. So that should be good for fuel for my body during my workout. And then on the weekends when I have that bigger meal, I always eat like an hour to an hour and a half before I work out, just to make sure that's fully digested, it's not sitting in my body, and it's actually helping me use it for fuel during my workouts. So if you are in any of those phases, even a cutting phase, you can definitely do it in two, especially like if you wake up at a normal time. Highly recommend eating before, but that can help a ton with just like having more energy, being able to push harder in the gym. And obviously, you know, when you can push harder and lift heavier weights, you're going to be seeing more progress there. We are going to transition from nutrition to workouts, and we're on to number 6, which is prioritizing cardio over weights. It's a no-no, definitely a big no-no. We don't want to do that, and that's because obviously like we want to put the majority of our energy and our effort towards our lifts, especially that main like compound lift. You really want to be working and be able to push for that. And if you do intense cardio, or if you do like a long duration of cardio beforehand, you're not gonna have the energy for that. You just put that energy towards running or walking or doing the stairs, and like that is not what's gonna get us progress in the gym. So we definitely want to focus on prioritizing weights over cardio always. And then we also deplete our glycogen when we work out, obviously, especially if we haven't eaten in a long time. So if you don't eat in the middle of your workout, most people don't, then you are going to deplete your glycogen. And by the time you do cardio after your workout, which is what you should be doing. If you're doing any cardio, you should be doing it after your workout. By the time you get there, your body is going to be pretty depleted of glycogen at those carb sources. If you don't know what I'm talking about, glycogen, carbs, sugar, things like that. Food basically, and when you get on that cardio machine to do cardio, you are going to be taking more from your fat stores instead of your glycogen, because you already depleted it in your workout. So I hope that makes sense for all of you guys, but if you have questions, I know it can get confusing with different words and stuff, so leave a comment if you have questions, but that's a main reason why a lot of people do cardio after the workouts. And then obviously you want more energy for your lifts, so doing it beforehand, cardio beforehand, is not going to be ideal for that. The only person that should be doing cardio before they lift, or just prioritizing cardio like that in general, would be someone that is focusing on solely endurance training, or endurance training over just strength training in general, which is not most people. So yeah, definitely keep that in mind, especially if you're not seeing progress in the gym. If you're a cardio bunny, hop off there, sis. You need to get on to the weights prioritize the weights and you will see progress. Okay, this one kind of ties in a little bit. So obviously we're talking about all workout stuff right now, but number 7 is going to be that you are not pushing hard enough during your workout. No matter what, you have to challenge yourself. And I know for like a lot of people, you can get super comfortable at the weight you're using, especially if you've been training for a long time. Like I found myself falling into like this trap probably 6 months ago, 8-9 months ago maybe, and I was just like struggling with my workouts. I felt like I was just going through the motion, but I wasn't pushing myself as hard as I could. And it's super easy to like fall into that when you've been training for 7+ years or even 5+ years or whatever it is. So definitely keep an eye on that. If you feel like, you know, you were seeing good results for a long time, but now you're kind of going through the motions and stuff, then you definitely need to you know, hop back on trying to push yourself and really challenging yourself with the weights that you use in the gym. A lot of us are way stronger than we think we are, so trying it out, and you know, there's a few different ways that we can do this. So one of my favorite ones right now is going by your RIR, which stands for reps in reserve. And that is going to tell you how many reps you have left in the tank pretty much. So let's say I went for 4 sets of 12 for lateral raises or something like that. And I finished my set of 12, and let's say I usually use 15 pounds in each hand. So when I do that, let's say I did 12 and I probably could have banged out like 5 extra reps after that, or even more than 5, then I'm going up. So if I think I could bang out like 10 reps after that, then I would say, okay, I have 10 reps in reserve. My RIR is 10. That means that I need to go up in weight. And if my form breaks down on that set, I'll just stop early and I'll say, okay, maybe I just need to like increase my reps for 15 pounds in each hand. So I'll shoot for 4 sets of 15 for lateral raises or something like that. So definitely keep that in mind. That is the best one in my opinion, because you can really tell like when you're failing and when you're not, and when you're close to failure. And a lot of people, you know, don't focus on that. So that can be super important. Another very common one is RPE. This one I think might be my least favorite. And this is, I used to use this a lot, and it's a good, like a very common one, and it's a good one to use in general for sure, but it's also like your opinion. So RPE stands for rate of perceived exertion. So you're basically rating how hard the exercise was for you. So obviously it's easy to rate something, but it's hard to like know if that's truly like where you would have failed at. Like, is a 10 failure for you? Is, you know, 8, let's say you have, you know, 10 reps left that you could have done and you mark it an 8, that's probably not an 8, that's probably like a 6, so you should go up. But everyone's like opinions are different on that, so that's why I don't really like that one as much. And then that last one, I think this, I would put this right in the middle of RIR and RPE, would be percent of 1 RM, which is percentage of your 1 rep max. And that one is calculated for you. There are a bunch of like calculators online that you could use for this to like find it. If you know your 1 rep max, or if you've ever tested it, or even any certain number, like if you tested like 3 rep max or anything like that, you can use those as well, and find your 1 rep max from that, and then calculate different percentages from there. But a lot of the times, something I do is like, if I'm going for a 5x5, I'll do that at like 80 to 85% of my 1 rep max, if I know my 1 rep max. And then that helps me kind of gauge like where I should be rep wise and weight wise as well. So yeah, that's a big one. If you're not focusing on challenging yourself and pushing your weight during your lifts, obviously keeping good form is like the top thing that we have to do. But if you have good form and you're not challenging yourself with your weights and you're not seeing progress, that's probably why. That's a really big one. So I highly recommend looking into that. You know, if you're someone out there that's doing like goblet squats with 20 pounds, obviously you can do a lot more than 20 pounds. I guarantee you can do a lot more than 20 pounds just holding the weight here. Get on that barbell, squat the bar, and then start going up in a weight. Obviously form comes first, especially for beginners, so definitely focus on that. I'm not saying to neglect that at all. but I know that you guys can do more than 20 pounds on squats. So definitely start pushing yourselves with that if you're not already. So number 8 is you're prioritizing accessory work over compound lifts, which is a big mistake. Obviously, I think everyone preaches this, so everyone should know this already, but it's super important to push yourself in the gym like I just said, but also push yourself with those compound lifts. It's gonna be super, super important, and something you can utilize to push yourself in the gym and make sure you're doing that is something called progressive overload. So progressive overload is challenging yourself and increasing your volume, your sets, your reps, your intensity, all that stuff to be able to progress with a certain lift. So the lifts that are mainly known or commonly known as compound lifts are going to be deadlifts, squats, bench, pull-ups, bent over rows. There's a ton of them, but those are like some of the main ones. So if you aren't like using progressive overload on those, highly recommend. That's probably where I've seen the most progress is with those kind of lifts, hip thrusts. I don't know if I said that, but that's definitely one. And any type of deadlifts. I said deadlifts, but any type of deadlifts, sumos, conventional, RDLs, stuff like that. So definitely make sure you're focusing on that. If you're someone that comes in the gym and does a band workout or a random workout from Instagram workouts are great. I post my workouts so you guys can use them, but if you're not on some kind of like split where you're doing the same compound lifts every week, then you need to definitely be focusing on that. If you're just doing like a bodyweight workout or a band workout or anything like that, like of course when the times are hard, like when COVID happened and everyone had to quarantine, no one had equipment, you're gonna do what you can. But when you're in the gym and you have those weights available and that resistance to really push yourself with that, we need to be doing that 100%. Alright guys, so we're transitioning out of workouts and moving into other things that I see commonly affect people's progress. This one's a big one. This one's going to be number 9, and that is sleep. Your sleep will 100% affect how you feel and how your progress goes. So if you are not seeing any type of progress or it's stalling or anything like that, and let's say you're working really hard, your nutrition is in check, your workouts are in check, you're hitting your water goal, you're hitting your step goal, and your sleep is off, that is the reason you are not seeing progress. Highly recommend, checking that out and making sure you kind of find new like morning routines and night routines to be able to see that progress, because, if sleep is off, it's gonna affect you in so many different ways. One way for sure that I've noticed a ton is energy and hunger. When my sleep is off, when my sleep is low, my hunger is super high the next day, and that puts me off of my nutrition because I'm hungry all day. So highly recommend taking a look at your sleep. If you need a good sleep or morning routine, definitely look it up. I know everyone posts it on Instagram, but it's really going to be personal to you and what works for you and your schedule. Something I like to do for focusing on sleep, obviously it has a lot to do with like your schedule and like everything like that, how you go about your day. If you have a lot of free time, that can be used for other things that you can get done so you can get into bed on time. That's a must for sure. So I like to plan out my day in Google Calendar, and I plan out my entire week on Sundays so that I am like set to go. Okay guys, and that brings us to number 10. So 10 is gonna be consistency. This is super, super important to hit fitness goals or any goals in general. Obviously you can't expect things to happen overnight. If you're trying to lose weight and you gained weight over a certain amount of years, then obviously it's gonna take some time to get weight off. If you are trying to build muscle, that's even harder than losing weight. It's definitely gonna take some time. You can't expect your glutes to grow in just 3 weeks. It's not gonna happen. You're not gonna see that big of a difference, even if you're doing everything right. You need consistency, you need time. A big thing I see here is like people struggling to pick what their goals are, or like getting torn in between 2 different goals. So a big thing I see all the time is getting torn between wanting abs and being shredded all the time, or wanting bigger glutes and wanting to build those glutes, because we know you can't build your glutes in a caloric deficit. If you're not eating, you cannot build your glutes. It's just not gonna happen. You need food, you need to be in a caloric surplus, mainly to grow your glutes or grow any part of your body, and to be super shredded all the time. Obviously, you're not gonna be in a caloric surplus to do that. So you have to pick your goal, stick to it. When I know it can be hard mentally, so when you're in there and you're going through your day-to-day process, try to remember the long-term goals. For me right now, I am reverse dieting. I'm in a building phase. So, you know, I'm getting my calories up there, which is gonna be super beneficial to me in the long run. I'm going into the winter months, I'm wearing more clothes. So I'm kind of using that as motivation to, you know, watch my weight go up a little bit. And you know, I've been through 2 different phases like this before, so I'm more used to it. But I know for people that are doing it for the first time, it can be a lot harder to handle that mental like factor there, with having to see the scale not go down always, or to see you kind of like put on more muscle, even though, like, you know, it's muscle but you're getting bigger. I know it can be hard. I know it can be hard. Everyone goes through the same thing, but to be able to see progress and to be able to get the progress and the results that you want, you have to be consistent with it. And you know, when that time comes that you're cutting again and you're getting leaner, you're gonna thank yourself so much that you're on higher calories, that you have more energy, that your metabolism is all good, that your hormones are all good, and that you can eat more and actually still enjoy yourself and have that balance and still be lean. And to get to that point, you need to go through a few phases like that. So keep up with that consistency, make sure you stick to your goals, think of the long term, and you will get through it, I promise. Okay guys, so that is my top 10. I hope you guys remember them, write them down, take notes, whatever you did. I hope it helps you guys. These are the top 10 most common things that I see that people, you know, do that don't get them progress, and is the reason why they're not seeing gains in the gym when they're, you know, killing their progress or whatever it is. So highly recommend, you know, writing these down, making sure you know them by heart so that you can focus on them in your day-to-day life, because I know everyone is so busy all the time. So, you know, we're putting in the work, so why, you know, why wouldn't we want to see the results? And if we're not seeing results, then something is obviously wrong. So I hope this helps at least one of you. Definitely let me know if it helped in the comments if you want to see more videos like this, and I will talk to you guys next time. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more videos, and I will talk to you soon.